to be really high up there. But the good stuff with a small company, my company is very small. Worldwide, we only have 3 offices. The HQ is in London, then there's a New York office, and this is the Singapore office. And total staff strength is about 80. It's owned by 2 guys. They're the founders of the company. So I would say that probably the career prospect would be to move on to bigger companies like Bloomberg or Thomson Reuters, or maybe in banks or in other financial institutions which require research.
Any last questions? No?
How do you actually get your data?
Okay, so the main form of how we get our data is to call people, and it's amazing what a call can do. You might think that why would an investor tell us what they want to do with their money, but they do. Yeah.
How do you know they're telling the truth?
So that's why you cannot always believe what the newspaper tells you. Right? Well, we just have to take them at face value of what they say, purely because they are the experts and they are the ones that represent the company. So if really they chose to disclose something that is not truthful to us, then we wouldn't know, but we will do our own due diligence. We will check with the amazing stuff that is called Google. Yeah. We will check what the main news are saying, and we will verify what they are saying. Yeah. And one other way that we get information is, maybe not so in Singapore, but in London and New York, is the Freedom of Information Act. They actually force people to tell them information through the Freedom of Information Act. Yeah. It can be requested.
Thank you, Mr. Kang. I'm sure you'll get more personal questions later. Okay, next up we have Mr. Alvin. He also graduated just last year, and he's with PricewaterhouseCoopers as a tax accountant. Welcome, Mr. Alvin.
Thank you all for having me here. Actually, I took some time off, but later I still have to go back and work. So, if you want to ask about the life of an accountant, I'm not an accountant by qualification, but by experience. Learning curve is very steep. I'm working with PricewaterhouseCoopers. I'm not sure if anyone, just a show of hands, who have heard of it? Okay, that's not quite famous. We have about 180,000 staff around the world, in 183 countries. So you can estimate about 1,000 staff per country. Not a very big company per se compared to banks. I know Credit Suisse has about 80,000. Okay, so easily banks outnumber accountants. Let me just ask you, maybe you must be thinking, why do I pick an accounting industry when I'm not from MBS, I'm from MSE, right? So any questions for that one? Okay, you must be thinking, okay, what has MSE got to do with accounting? I can tell you that it is really it's not the content that you learn here, it's more about how you go about learning the content. So your lecturers can give you all the material to study. How you study it is very important. It's not what you study, it's how you study, because that is how I'm using it to learn up, to climb this learning steepness, you know. I have to start everything from scratch. Compared to all the SMU, NTU, MBS students, it's a very steep learning curve. I learn about finances and taxes. So I'm actually a tax specialist in training right now. I'm a senior associate with PwC. We advise the governments, currently your tax budget. If you all have been paying attention last Friday to our PM's budget speech, For foreigners, don't worry. When you start working, right, you start paying taxes already. So then maybe you'll be more interested. So apart from if I teach you how to make money, or rather give you information on how to make money, I will advise you on how to save money from the government, of course. A number of people, companies, so actually I service high net worth individuals, usually managing directors from small firms, big firms, all over the world. We do multinational companies as well. Banks, financial institutions, supposedly my area of specialty lah. I also do hotels also. So a large portion of my clients come from hotels, banks, some from semicon companies. I'm not going to say which one previously sitting there, and also that one. Oil and gas industries. In fact, we do quite a lot of auditing for them, and apart from that, we tag on tax advisory. So help them to do their accounts, teach them how to save money, and also how to make money. So basically, we package everything. If you're talking about career progression, in this industry, career progression is good. If you're working for the big 4 companies, like Pricewaterhouse is one of them, and there's the other 3 more, Deloitte, KPMG, I'm not sure whether you heard of them, and the last one is EY, Ernst & Young. So these 4 are always competing for business, cut each other until you pay the cheapest price in the market. So in that case, like accountants like us, we get drilled very hard. Basically, one person does maybe 2 persons or 3 persons capacity on an average basis, which is why I have to go back to it later. Okay, our work hours are long, probably spread through 1 AM to 2 AM during peak season. Depends on your nature. If you are tagged on to different kind of scope of work, because sometimes we need to meet clients. So I'll tell you about the more interesting part of my job. A daily life of me and my colleagues would be to meet clients in the morning, have lunch, come back to the office, reply emails, meet a bit more clients towards the tail end of the day, and then at night, take a dinner, and then sit down at your desk and start working on their work, the actual work. So we actually start work at 6:30 PM, and we come to work at about 8:30 PM. That's on the peak period. Talking about profit margins, we probably earn quite a lot of money, but we don't get a lot as compared to finance industry. The other finance industry, I mean like banking, private equity, research. So, but it's good. I mean, the knowledge that you get here. The training, it really helps you with your thinking, your thought process. Because whatever we did we learned in MSE, the whole logic thinking about simplifying things so that you can understand, all these soft skills are really required in the real world. This is the reality. If you cannot simplify complex things to a simple person who doesn't know what you're doing, then you are screwed. Not in your job, but as in personally you are screwed, because nobody around can understand you. So you've got to get that fixed first. And next thing is, you need to be able to find out things that you don't know. So not everybody can know everything. Even I myself, we don't know about tax, about UK or US or China. I can't advise people on those. But in the meanwhile, I'm actually working on these expatriates that come in from UK and US. So I even have to study their tax laws other than Singapore tax laws. So apart from finance, learning their people's individual finances, how much property they possess, how much investments they have, I also have to learn the tax laws of different countries. So imagine there's a lot of things that you got to learn. If you can't get this whole if you can't organize your thoughts well, can't organize your learning well, it's very difficult for you to pick up new things also. Like what Yan Hua has said, pretty much Prof. Lam and what Yan Hua has said earlier on, they have summed up the very key essentials to surviving in the real world. And yeah, just be nice to people around you. That will help a lot. I mean, if you have some extra pocket money, just give them a treat once in a while, you know. Yeah. People will love you for that. Not because they are cheap, you know, but it's because you're being nice. Any questions from the floor? That's more important. You want to clear your doubts before you enter. Yes, Derek.
What's the difference between an engineer-trained accountant and an MBS-trained accountant?
An engineer-trained accountant gets 10 points. An MBS-trained accountant is probably half its value. No, because, okay, things about engineering, right? The content you learn is not applicable, definitely. Who writes polymer equations in an accounts balance sheet? For those who have studied a bit of accounting. Okay, the more important part is how do you use this skill to survive in the accounting field. For me, what I can say is, yes, my engineering degree doesn't have any relation, but it's just your degree that counts first. Okay, just try and get the degree out first, and then companies will hire anyone who is enthusiastic, bright, and willing to find things out on their own. Meaning you need to find things out on your own, and you have to, of course, let people have faith in you. So you have to have this kind of trust. Yeah, that should be sufficient. I mean, to.
Yes. Can I ask, how do you convince PricewaterhouseCoopers to hire you?
How did I convince them to hire me?
Interview that PricewaterhouseCoopers want to accept whatever it is.
Yes, actually I'm the only engineering grad if you think about it. It was a very grueling interview. Practically the first question was, how do you handle stress? Because this environment is very stressful. Personally, I have 13 companies and 161 clients per company to service. So that is a lot of names to remember. And also I have to find out everything about their personal finances, how they spend their money, how much credit they clock up in their credit cards, whether their mortgage loans are paid up. I have to know everything. So it's very difficult. You have to update the tracker, and it's a pain in the ass. And very important is handling stress in you need to have some kind of work-life balance. Of course, in this industry, there's all work no life so it's obviously imbalanced. So handling stress on your own is a skill you have to go and figure it out yourself. Okay, do something that you really like. For me, I like to be a kepo, so I like to meddle with other people's business and making them happy about it. So yeah, so in this case, that's why I took up this job. Handling stress is also quite important. I mean, if you do sports, if you have hobbies, that will be very beneficial for you. Okay, simple things like taking a walk on your way back home can really keep your sanity in check. Okay? Yeah, I'm speaking from experience. It's very crazy. It's crazy world out there. So really take opportunity of all the opportunities that you can lay your hands on in MSE. Every free time you have, right? Don't spend it on playing computer games. Sad to say. I mean, if it's a hobby, maybe just reduce it Instead of 50% of your time, you spend 20 or 15. Okay, do something more meaningful. Pick up a skill. I think that's